Hello everybody and welcome to another DoD video. Today we are reviewing a high level ladder game, FireFox against Matador. For those who do not know, FireFox is a ranked ladder player. He tends to compete in the ladder. He likes getting the top 10, the top 5 sometimes, and he's been doing pretty well in the ladder. And on the other side, Matador is a tournament competitor, and he loves playing in tournaments. He belongs on the top 10 in the tournament ranking, so he's a very strong player, one of the best in the world out there. So this is gonna be a very interesting match to watch, because we have Poseidon, and we know that Poseidon is not that good against Norse in general. We tend to think that Poseidon gets countered by Norse, which is not wrong. I agree to a degree with that, yeah. And so I'm pretty interested to see how this is gonna play out. FireFox, I believe he's a Hades main, and maybe he used to play a lot of Freyr. So he's been playing some Poseidon as well, and it looks like his playstyle is super interesting. So I'm keen in watching what he's about to do in order to counter Freyr, because in my opinion Freyr also does very well against Poseidon. Freyr's economy is overall better. You save way more resources by paying half the cost for every unique technology, or every technology in general. So let's see. So okay, the god of choice for Fox is gonna be Hermes. Matador still getting his hand axe. Looks like he's a bit late, not gonna be aging up anytime soon. And FireFox going up to the classical age. He's gonna have a nice center early on to harass the Freyr player. A house is going up. We see 2 villagers on favor, maybe even 3. Alright. We see that FireFox is having 0 on gold, so that cannot be a fast second town center. And with so little gold in the bank, this is gonna be... He cannot even afford a second Atalanta at that point, but what he can afford is probably a second center soon enough. Started already training villagers. I believe, okay, FireFox is kinda sacrificing some economy in exchange of making some early push happening, because he aged up around 320, around there. So he has less villagers than the Norse player, and you can see Matador hasn't even clicked up yet, finally clicking up through Ulre, and he's now gonna have to deal with a center, so that might be a bit annoying for him. Let's see how it's gonna go. Pushing that giraffe away, so can nicely hunt underneath the town center. And Fox gets the first clicks, the first hits on these villagers. The center can just sit there outside the range of the town center, and will also be harassing the Dwarves on the gold mine, or dwarves I should say. And what is the follow-up behind that? Still having 3 on favor, looks like FireFox wants to get plenty of favor out there. We see another center on the way, so that's gonna be plenty of idle time. FireFox has nicely utilized his early age up to get so much damage done already. You can see these villagers being idle on the town center, then on the tower. There's only one Herser, so a dwarf is gonna go down. And now FireFox gets the villager lead. So overall, nice aggression by FireFox, nice idle time. It's time to retreat now and choose for a follow-up. Matador is forced to drop his Asgardian Hillfort next to his starting gold mine. There are some very low hit point villagers. You have to be super careful with them. Might be worth it to keep them on the goats for the rest of the game and then build farms with them, because if you try to go any further outside of your base, they're likely to be taken down. Alright, the 2 centers are being chased by the Herser, gonna be pushing them away, grabbing some goats in the back of his base, and here's the follow-up. Stable and a military academy. Atalanta is also on the way, as well as the winged messenger. That's very interesting. So Matador is playing super defensively right now. You know, he's getting the defensive Asgardian Bastion, at the same time upgrading these towers and doing a combination of dwarfs and gatherers from the town center. Throwing the first long house from the looks of it. Let's check out FireFox's point of view. Doesn't see much. He sees the Draugr. Could maybe micro the second center to get a few hits, but that's okay, it's not necessary. have 5.7 speed, they can easily escape from anything that Matador can train. A Herser might go down, yes, one Herser going down, nice coach by Fox. And Fox is looking to get a center special attack on the villagers and will be retreating away. Center will go down, not a big deal, it got his value. The Draugr might be going down, so this is a myth unit for a myth unit, but hopefully we don't lose that hero. Yep, time to retreat. That Atalanta might be going down, though she's not as fast as we thought she is. Alright, she survives. A weakness Poseidon might have is that it's not as easy to heal his units. The only exception are the Lord of Horses Hippeus. You know, your cavalry can regenerate hit points, or the Hippeus. But if it's about heroes or hoplites, you know, you don't have restoration, you don't have Temple of Healing, so it's pretty tough to heal units with your Poseidon. Sometimes they just end up dying right away in a big fight. So, alright. FireFox grabbing a second town center. So, he decides to go for this follow-up. There is a nice elephant and some gazelle right next to it. And it would be nice to start looking for a second gold mine already. You know, you might be running away in the next 8 minutes, 7 minutes, around there. Could be sooner if you start training gold heavy based armies such like Hippeus. But anyways, hand axe pickaxe on the way. You kinda need these upgrades considering Freyr gets them super early on. And now we have the Atalanta and the center raid going around. FireFox making sure that Matador is nowhere outside his base. Can always check on the back zebras. The map is favoring a little bit Matador at that point in my opinion, because it doesn't look like FireFox has any backhand at all. But that's okay, Matador gets the backhand, FireFox doesn't get the backhand, at least he gets some hand on his second town center, it's not too terrible. Harassing these villagers, one villager might go down, yes, he will go down, would he kill, alright. So, sacrificing the low hit point Hippolyta and the low hit point center to kill two villagers, definitely a trade I would take, it's good for the long term. And now we see a second center, actually a third center on the way. The starting two centers died already, but they got value, so that's what matters about training units. And the army composition, I guess FireFox is not gonna be training any archers at all, which I think I really like. I think I like that. He's not gonna be doing any talk shots, he's not looking to go heroic to train peltasts. If he needs any arrows, I guess he will be committing into centers, which is possible. Centers have extra speed for Poseidon. And yes, we are a fan of that. Atalanta once again is out with a couple of hoplites. And how's the game going to proceed? Using Kataskopos to check around. There is the winged messenger Pegasus, checking on the second large gold mine of Matador. This is a very good location to place your Pegasus. And if we reveal the map, let's take a look. Matador is going for mass walling, which is considered kinda lame for Freyr, because, you know, the stone walls cost half the cost for Freyr, but it is one way you can play against Poseidon, because you're sometimes afraid Poseidon will raid you to the ground, so you might as well spam out walls, get the stone walls up. But there is one issue about Matador's walls so far. It's like, okay, they secure some food, like there are some zebras here he's securing, but he's not securing any gold mines at all. Would be far better if Matador starts dropping walls here and here. That would secure him definitely the nice gold mine over there, and slowly go out, build new Asgardian bastions, secure more and more gold mines in the map. That's super important, especially if you train dwarves. Alright, and we see Matador training a couple of Huskarls. It's not a bad idea, but I think he might be training too many, 8 Huskarls so far, and he might be training even more. It is a bad idea because FireFox has 0 ranged soldiers in his army. The Herser will go down. Nice move from Fox, denying these walls. That's gonna mean that Matador will not have access to a gold mine yet. So let's see how that's gonna go. So even though these Huskarls will have a high resistance against the centers, at the same time, these Huskarls will not be able to kill anything. Would be far better if you use that wood to build throwing axemen for the hoplites, and possibly more farms, so he could build more heroes. This is not a fight Matador can take, he doesn't have the proper army composition for it. The Hippos and the Hoplites do very well against the Huskarls, considering Huskarls have very low hack armor, only 10%, and they don't apply any bonus damage against the Hoplites and everything. So this is definitely a bad fight for Matador to take, but from the looks of it, maybe just because of the defender's advantage, Matador ended up having not a terrible trade, but he did lose a lot. Because remember, these Huskarls are way more expensive than a Hoplite. They cost... yeah, they cost 115 resources. Yeah, I think I did the math properly. Compared to a Hoplite that costs 90 resources. So the Hoplite is far more cost effective, and I think they have the same population. Yes, 2 populations, so at that point Hoplite will be winning the 1v1, definitely. The statistics also say for it, 40% hack armor. So with Golem Burst being cast, this is a good time for Fox to run away. Run away from the Golem Burst, you don't want to fight that at all. You can sacrifice your Atalanta, there we go, he's going for it, maybe. Getting a hit on the dwarves while retreating. It's okay even if you lose a center, as long as you save the rest of the army, which is kinda what's happening. Yep, save your center. Oh, run away. Okay, one more center will go down, but at least Fox got value from it. Fox has nicely sniped a dwarf or 2, killed some units. Another dwarf goes down, and now Fox has the villager lead by 7 villagers, 6 now. Matador is trying his best to secure gold mines, spamming buildings, walls and units, while Fox is nicely building a 3rd town center, booming his economy, outbooming Freyr to his best ability, while also applying some pressure with the upgraded centers and the hoplites. This has so far been so well played by Fox. He doesn't even need walls at that point. You see, Fox is not even walling, considering he's the aggressor, and he can easily keep up with his aggression, so he doesn't worry too much about being raided. We do see some commitment over here though. Forward military academies, that means he doesn't want to let the Freyr get any gold mines. And this is a nice raid by Matador. This was way too risky from Fox. With all of that wood in the bank, he could have easily dropped some farms next to his 2nd town center, instead of going outside and stealing Matador's hand. Of course you'll be raided, of course you will lose villagers. But if you wanna drop these buildings, you can just do it with 1 villager, you don't have to send 7 of them to do that. Alright. A new Asgardian hill fort is being dropped. Fox is putting aggression over there, he wants to stop the hill fort, because he knows that's gonna hurt the Freyr economy a lot. And this is the mastery of nicely putting pressure on while grabbing town centers, booming your economy at your best ability, and at the same time making your opponent think that you are the one booming while you are actually booming, but at the same time gaining all the map control for yourself. So Matador thinks that Fox is on 2 town centers right now, but actually Fox is on 3 town centers, that's what matters. Nicely cutting around, snapping a couple of berserks and the Huskarls. At that point I have a feeling that Matador is putting too much of his economy on the Huskarls, because they cost a lot of wood, they're super expensive, and at the same time they're no good against the Hippos and the Hoplites. They don't even apply any bonus damage against the centers, so at that point a little bit of a misplay from Matador. I wouldn't be going for this army composition. You might as well save that wood, invest it into farms, and then once you're at the heroic age, start building DoD. That definitely counters centers. Alright, Fox is being caught, that's gonna cost him 2 centers on the way, and he's retreating at the same time, retreating from berries as well. This is gonna be some idle economy for him, But at least he's ahead actually. He's ahead by 22 villagers. 21 now. Floating a bit of wood in the bank, but that's okay. He's only keeping 12 villagers on wood. Would be far better to use that wood for farms. As we see, he's investing into military buildings actually. Archery ranges and some military academies on the way. He's pre-queuing Dionysus. And he's looking to get his next power spike in the Heroic Age, having a bronze ability and having the superior army at that point. Mixing some Hypaspist would be ideal to deal with any infantry units the Freyr player can train. And we see him already pre-queuing the second line upgrades. Boso and Shaft Mine are on the way. Survival equipment might have been something would be better to grab earlier, considering Fox was vulnerable to any raids in the first 10 minutes into the game. And he's still ahead by 24 villagers, so his economy is looking superior. His army as well, very soon. Plow has been researched, so you can freely stay on your farms underneath your town centers. You no longer have to hunt outside and risk your villagers. And we do see some side building. This is very interesting. The villager will be able to take down a throwing axeman. This was actually unexpected. A villager killing a soldier. We do have some cavalry upgrades on the way. Lord of Horses is on the way. Spirited Charge as well as medium cavalry. And irrigation is being pre-queued. Fox heavily investing into army and economy at the same time. Exactly what you should be doing when you have this amount of villagers. 97 villagers. He has almost maxed out. So what is gonna be the follow-up? A Pegasus checking on this gold mine. More walls for Matador, looking to possibly secure a trade route for the late game. But now finally Matador is grabbing his last third town center, and he's been behind on economy for so long. Fox is also getting his Dionysia. Such a cheap upgrade and very good value, plus 5% hit points for every single unit in the game, including the Titan, right? Such a good technology. For your villagers, for your army, for late game. We do see a forward fortress being dropped. And couple of walls being destroyed. FireFox is trying to push gold mines and locations nicely, securing map control. And we still see so many Huskars. This is just not the ideal army composition you wanna be going as the Freyr player at that point. You are dealing with 0 archers. The 3 Hippos trying to raid will be taken down. Destroying these buildings will be a pain, considering militia will be spawned. And now FireFox is looking to put more pressure, training a Petrobolos, attacking those buildings nicely, slowly. And you might be gonna be attacking this Asgardian Shieldfort, why not? Maybe he hasn't scouted yet. Now he sees it and he instantly attacks. Are there any heroes in the battlefield to kill the rock giant? Not yet, but they will be here very soon. Nice timing from FireFox, making sure that Matador doesn't just get his Asgardian Shieldfort up. Might need like 2 more hits, 1 more hit from the Petrobolos and it should go down. Alright, it's taken down. We do see Tempest being cast, and FireFox countering it by casting his Ceasefire. His units will be frozen though. And we do see some aggressive walls being dropped from Matador. Matador wants to make sure this army doesn't escape. Finally we see Hypaspists in the main army. 5 seconds left for the Ceasefire. You might wanna be sacrificing your Petrobolos to save everything else. The centers will get caught. So nice play from Matador. And Matador is slowly catching up on the villager, on the civilian counter. Behind that, FireFox is going to the Mythic Age. That's very interesting. Getting his Thracian horses nicely. one of the best army compositions Poseidon can go for is Mass Hippeus and Hippas Beasts. They do very well against most enemy army compositions, because he counters archers with cavalry, he counters infantry with Hippas Beasts, and those Hippeus are quite good. They can take their front line against other cavalry units after you have that many upgrades, right? More map control being secured for FireFox, making sure that Matador is stuck on his lone 2 gold mines. So there's very little access for Matador. We do see a fortress being dropped for FireFox to secure the gold mine and the corner. Forge of Olympus is on the way, getting irrigation, Polyphemus instantly, very nicely done. You need to get your Mythic Age heroes as fast as possible out. And we do see some heavy Heteri being trained instantly, so that's very good. We do see every armory upgrade is also on the way, since they're so cheap after Forge of Olympus is researched. Champion cavalry is being killed. And Matador is kinda stuck in the heroic age. He's actually, okay, he clicked up Vidar, but yet again, he's gonna have to deal with a full bronze Poseidon army now, with champion. And it's gonna be a while until Matador can actually get his own champion upgrades. They take so long to be researched for Freyr. Nicely having secured more gold mines with fortresses. This was very well played from Fox. Matador cleaning up this side, he's gonna have to deal with the center now. The Heteros have been trained. Yards, I don't think Yards is the ideal unit against Heteroi. You might wanna be training Herdmen instead, and Goldie to kill the centaurs. Attacking this gold mine, nicely done by Fox, making sure that Matador is gold starred. And since he pushed Matador from this location, and since he has secured this location with a fortress, that means Matador doesn't have too many options at that point. Matador might be gold starred very soon. We do see iron upgrades and burning pits on the way. A new Polyphemus is being trained. FireFox is just gonna have a superior army at that point. How's even Matador planning to win this? He's like 30 villagers behind. He has 3 times less army. Fox is just attacking the forward base, he's gonna take down the town center. The Helepolis is doing an amazing job as well. It doesn't look like Matador can defend anymore. This is looking game. We're gonna see an Inferno just if he can come back, but there is no way. Bronze is being cast, that's gonna be little damage. Only few units will go down and the centers. The Helepolis survives. And Matador calls it. FireFox gets the win. So this was overall some very nice textbook Poseidon play. I believe this is one of the best ways to play against Freyr. Nicely done by Fox, nice aggression. He didn't commit in too many walls. He instead did the important task, which was to drop fortresses on gold mines. And then you can train Hetarois from those fortresses once you get mythic. Going into Hephaestus is a must against Freyr, because since Freyr gets the cheap upgrades, why don't you get your own cheap upgrades, you know? That's the feeling. And then doing a big push and using bronze to defend god powers, or a ceasefire to defend the Tempest, and run away from Gulonbersti. So this was very much a nice high-level game from the ladder. Well played by Fox, and thank you for watching, everybody. Feel free to subscribe and leave a comment to this channel, and we'll see you in the next videos.